Bob, this is one of the great American works for chorus and orchestra, and I'm so thrilled to get to do it with you. Harmonium by John Adams.
I'm so excited too, and I think we were talking. I started looking at this last summer in anticipation of what our rehearsal calendar might look like, and it's just, among other things, it's just structured so differently than anything else the chorus has ever performed. You know, in terms of the anchors that you might normally have to orient yourself in an 8-bar melody or a 10-bar phrase with harmonic cadences that come in ways that your ear can just kind of hang on to, go, oh, I'm there. A lot of that is stripped away in this. And so those aural orientation points don't exist. So I sort of anticipated that in setting up a different kind of rehearsal schedule to give us more time to get accustomed to what it does have.
The nuances of how John Adams writes music, for me, connects so much to Schubert because, you know, you have consistency, and then all of a sudden there's that chord change.
Yeah.
And maybe it's Schubert songs, you know, the miniature version, a 4-minute song versus a 40-minute symphony. But it's when you have those arrivals.
Sure. And they blow your mind when they happen.
Yeah.
I mean, like the very opening of the first movement, where we have this, I don't know if he described it or I've heard others describe it as like a molecule of sound in the distance and space that's getting closer and closer and more active and expanding and opening, and we add voices, but it's still these repeated pitches, and then all of a sudden you get these homophonic chords in the chorus, and it's just like it's just like the sun coming out, you know.
Yes.
It just really is impactful. It's very exciting. We talked about this too. Like, one of the other things that's fascinating to me is he was so interested in the effects of overtones and harmony and how that all operated. Did a lot of electronic music. And so, you know, on first reads, a lot of the choral stuff, a singer would look at it and go, oh, it's a cluster. There's a big cluster of notes. But we've done a lot of work in rehearsal of breaking that out into the triads that are layered on top of each other.
Yeah.
And it's really funny going from a reading where you just go into there's my pitch to tuning this major triad, tuning this minor triad, really getting them tuned, and then putting them back together. Totally changed. And there are these sort of overtones that then sort of happen in the room, and we felt it in rehearsal 3 or 4 times where people go, oh, that was new, that was different.
So nice.
Even after singing the same section.
I think when John was writing this piece, he was just tapping into something that was going to be so much of, you know, his career and his life. Obviously, this is an earlier work. He was younger when he wrote this piece, and the way he let it fly. I was in touch with him about getting to do this, and he said, oh, I'm so glad you get to take that big bird for a flight. And it really is description. Like, it just flies.
Well, and I think about it going into the third movement, right? You know, Wild Nights is the text, and man, he just voices it for the chorus in a way that delivers from the first time they open their mouths. It feels wild, you know, and it feels like you've arrived at this sort of peak of this flight in a way that just stays there for a good long time.
Yeah. I think it's worth saying that if you know, coming to this show, there's a transition that is it really reminds me of the transition of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony from the third movement to the fourth movement of this symphony, where it's all very quiet and slow. And then it emerges into one of the greatest heroic arrivals ever. Beethoven 5, you know, bum, 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 last movement. And John Adams just kind of is skimming the surface like a bird over water, and then it just gets bigger and bigger, and it has this arrival that just opens up, and the chorus comes in.
That's a great analogy. That second movement on that Emily Dickinson text about riding in a carriage in your death, riding past your life, essentially just sort of quietly from the carriage and slowly observing all this stuff. And it has this otherworldly, almost cinematic feeling about that slower section, right? So then when it emerges into the thing you're describing, it's shocking and amazing and exhilarating and unexpected.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Happy birthday. The choir is 35
years old.
It's so exciting.
And it's looking so good.
Yes.
My predecessor, Don McCullough, founded the group 35 years ago. This is my 28th season, so I'm happy to be here for so much of it. And, the last couple of years, it's interesting coming out of COVID, we've grown a ton. So we have a lot of people who have not been with the chorus before. And so another reason to be excited to do this piece right now is to give them that kind of an experience. For the chorus, this is one of those pieces that a few years from now, they're going to go, oh, we did that work. I mean, everything the chorus does, we enjoy doing and love doing. But there are those pieces along the way that you just go, that we did that. And, they've had a few of those over the years. We were sort of going through and talking about these, recording Les Nos, recording some of the big pieces and all that kind of thing. But those are sort of your fence posts along the way where you go. After which, Mozart seems really easy.
Yeah. Impossible.